Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to BRtheory. It has been approximately 7 months since we've last done a BRtheory, and personally, I'd like to apologize. As you guys know, I am a little itty bitty kid, and I have been doing a lot of things within the past year. One, COVID, that was kind of a thing. I was also in school. I still am in school, not saying I dropped out or anything. I was doing a whole bunch of stuff on my channel, couldn't really figure out what I was doing, so I kind of made a new channel, Daylight Reborn. Had to keep on top of Daylight Creative Corner, but I'm not even making an excuse, okay? It was just really hard, and I know as a one-man person just doing this all by himself, believe it or not, it takes a while to get videos out and stuff, as most people know. So I'm not even gonna, sit here for about another minute and talk about why I was in here. We're here now, and welcome to 2022. I hope you guys had a great new year. And I think January 30th, whenever you're seeing this, that is the anniversary I almost said break it, my BR map, of BRtheory. So go ahead, say happy birthday in the comments. But other than that, let's get into the theory. So, what is the theory? If you haven't seen the thumbnail already, it is called the multiversal theory. Now, what exactly is the multiversal theory? As you guys know, with the multiverse and all that, you've heard it. I've heard it. Your dog has probably even heard it as well. The multiverse is something that is kind of everywhere. It's always talked about. Best representation of the multiverse can be, let's say, the MCU, Marvel, all the different Spider-Men, and all different, Avengers and stuff like that. That's one of them. Another one could be Fortnite creative. In the creative fandom or in the creative, community, we've always had a thing called the creative multiverse, and a few shout outs here. There's been a lot of maps that have tackled this multiverse theory or this multiverse concept, such as my map, Pete's map, that we're gonna get into, Beef's map, and Eclipse's map, and so many more upon that. Probably even Hunterfell as well. Cannot confirm. But there's a lot of maps about the multiversal concept. And basically, if people don't know what the multiverse is, it's basically that there are an infinite number of universes like our own, but everything can be different. So say I'm in a different universe, I'm not even making a BRtheory. I'm making something totally different. In a world, bro, you could have a bajillion subscribers, but in this one, you probably don't. Like me. So, that's basically the whole multiversal theory. But what about the creative theory? That whole theory is about how the maps are all connected in a way, and how we've all connected them in a way. And that's basically what this entire thing is. How all the maps are connected, such as, look at it. Let's look at Eclipse's map again. Way back when, his character Larry was recruiting a crap ton of people from across the multiverse. Same with Ben Dominator, I'm pretty sure, and many more people. Kind of taking on that season 5 chapter 2 concept of taking people out of their realities and bringing them to their world. And that's basically what they have done with this map. But I'm not talking about those maps. We're here today to talk about Directingpetes map. I have reason to speculate that my first BR theory might be true, might come true. After about a year, it so happened that the theory, I might be 100% on that theory. Not full 100%, but 100% on that theory, if you catch my drift. Now, if you haven't watched that video, I highly recommend you go watch the Directingpete Will It Explode video, because that theory was the theory that shot everything off. So check that out. Second, let's talk about the map. Let's talk about the orb. Everything from last year to this year. So basically, since like last year, Pete's map has been going through constant map changes, and I mean, props to him for actually getting these map changes out and be able to handle being a one man and or even multiple in building the map. But basically, there's a faction between gnomes and the orb. There's a current like faction thing going on, kind of like Chapter 2, Season 2 with Ghost and Alter or Ghost and Shadow, whatever you want to interpret that. The gnomes are basically the people of the island, while the orb, a unknown universal, whatever you want to call it, sphere, circle, 2D circular thing, is trying to constantly rule over the map. And I have reason to believe that the orb is not even gonna blow up the map, and it can go two ways. So we're gonna do the very first theory. So, what is the first theory? The first theory is the map will not explode. This is kind of the Team Orb side. So if you're on Team Orb, this might be good news to you guys. Team Gnome, not really. But first theory, basically, let's say the orb is here, and he destroys the gnomes again and again. So, why hasn't he destroyed the map yet? I personally think that there's something on said island that he is trying to get to. And it might seem far-fetched, but really think about it. If the orb is this all-powerful, God-knowing thing that knows literally everything, and he's really powerful, that he couldn't be defeated not once or twice, but like perhaps 3 times, then why in the heck has he not destroyed the island yet? I could say personally he hasn't destroyed the island yet because there is something there that he is trying to get to. We know that the orb is a sentient being, and he probably can move. We've never seen him move before. Haven't really seen anything of him actually moving. But people do know that the orb cannot move. So I'm thinking of during the event, or whatever you guys chose in the community tab thing, he basically becomes this gigantic sentient being, like a celestial from Eternals, right? And he basically walks around and he's constantly digging up the ground. He knows exactly where the source of power is, and he is digging up the ground. And he finds the source of power that's deep, deep below the map. So our job is to go down there into the depths of the island and find out what he's trying to get. You can see that there are gigantic hands trying to constantly grab, and you have to shoot at the hands to knock him back. But constantly, he is trying to get this thing. And as you deeper and deeper into the source of the island, you find out there's a gigantic ball of power thing that kind of looks like the orb. This could be his prodigy, like the next reign, the next like orb, whatever. Because thinking it or not, the orb can be destroyed. And if I'm taking this into more context, when, even in family terms, think about family. What happens, or what do you do to keep a generation of the family going? You have kids. You have, you have kids and stuff to keep the generation going. Because if you don't have kids or anything and you die, then it stops the generation. So, taking that, what if the orb planted a child into the map, and he is trying to constantly dig for it to pull it out of the ground because it's grown up enough to where if the orb did explode, there would be a backup orb, or its son or daughter or whatever you want to call it would become the next reigning orb. That could be a possibility. I think this might be the most, the most likely. I wouldn't say likely, take it with a grain of salt. But I think this would kind of be a good way to end off this orb's story, but not really show the next orb into the next 2 or 3 seasons, because guess what? It's still growing. And you guys do discover that the baby orb is still constantly growing, but y'all need to find a way to harness its power before it kind of, becomes evil like its dad. So that's basically what I would call the orb's prodigy theory. That's basically my theory right there on how the orb planted a seed of another orb, just in case this orb, the dad orb, blown up and the gnomes took over. And now, that's basically that theory. Now let's talk about theory number 2. Okay, now this is the theory that the thumbnail and the title is based off of, the multiversal theory. The multiversal theory, I've already explained what the multiverse is, and basically, my idea is, if the orb works exactly like the 0 point from season 9 all the way up to season, I'm going to say 8, chapter 2, the orb is basically just another variant of said 0 point. So, if we can take that, what happens to the 0 point when it's being used too much? It creates tattered shards and stuff and cracks in reality. We see this a lot in the Zero Crisis event in season 6, chapter 2, where the orb is making, or the 0 point is making different portals. Of course, Jonesy, or Agent Jones, calls these portals, but they're called something else. They're called reality tears, or something like that. So, technically, theorizing here, like we have been for the past 10 minutes now, if the orb were to explode, we could see a full multiversal collapse, just like on my map. Now, this has happened a lot before, but if you guys don't really know what I'm talking about, I'm going to really promote a little bit of my map here. Basically, in my thing, it's not really an orb, but when my character destroyed another character that was all powerful and stuff, it opened up tears in the multiverse and caused a lot of stuff to fall into their island. And that's what we could see in Directingpetes map. We could see the orb explode, and we see a lot of the multiverse. We see the multiverse around us. We see all these different universes and galaxies and stuff like that. And that could be the theory. If the ultimate weapon that the gnomes made can actually destroy the orb, or put at least a crack in it, threatening the orb might just explode and tear itself apart along with the island, causing the multiverse to flood. And personally, I think if the multiverse did come into Pete's map, or the creative multiverse came to Pete's map, it would be a really, really good change. If you think about it, I'm talking many creators, like landmarks from their maps could pop in the Pete's map. Pete's main character and his map might get sucked into some dimension portal and end up in a different island. The possibilities could be endless, and you can have this multiversal theory kind of running along with the map, unless he doesn't want to have the map constantly being destroyed, or he might actually enjoy it. But there you kind of go. That's kind of my theory on that. How the theory is that if the orb is destroyed, the multiverse will expand, and it will kind of unleash itself upon Pete's Island and release things that are good and evil. We might see popular creators like Beef or Ben Dominator or Hunter Fella or many more people who, and small content creators and stuff like that. But those two theories are the theories that I'm ground solid on. Those are the theories that I personally think that one of those two could happen. I like the first theory, I like the second theory, but tell me your own theories in the comment section below. We all theorize here, and I'm Daylight Reborn, also known as the BRtheory guy. But I'm gonna say the popular quote from that Pat. But hey, that was just a theory, a BRtheory. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.